All right, so they're wrapping up the construction of the Eiffel Tower in Paris. The internal structure is there. Here you can see the final, all put together version of it in Paris. So these classic Paris buildings in the background. You can see the workshops that are surrounding the statue down here at the base, and that's where all the work on all the materials was going on. If you go back, let's just show one thing right quick. So this is, you can see the internal structure there, a little bit reminiscent of what the Eiffel Tower is going to look like in the future, and then this jutting off structure here that will take care of the arm. But what's interesting about this is the construction technique, because all of the load, the weight of the statue is focused on the center column structure. The outside of it is not load bearing, which is kind of an unusual type of construction. But the way that they were able to manage that was that they have the of the 1800s steel structure, and then the outside is actually quite light for its size, the volume of the structure. It's a thin sheeting of copper that they were able to, copper is very malleable, and so they're able to mold the outside of it and literally hang the copper sheeting on the outside, and some extra structure in there to give support where it's needed. And with that, you have you basically would put up the internal structure and then build out the statue around it. And it's just a fascinating process that they used to make this happen. And that's why, if you take a look at the Statue of Liberty today, you'll see more pictures here shortly. It has a green tint to it, and that's the natural patina of copper, is a green patina. If you put some awnings on houses or gutters, maybe they'll put copper gutters, and over time those will take on a sort of a green patina. The only way that you can prevent that is to put a sealer on the outside. So if you clean copper and then put some kind of a UV protective sealer on it, but when copper oxidizes, it turns green. So that's the reason that it looks the way that it does. And so from completing the statue there in Paris, off it goes. They take it apart and send it off to, they actually sent the hand, which had hung out in a New York park, I believe, for a little bit, or maybe a couple of years. They packed it up, sent it back to France so that it could be assembled with the statue, and then they actually send the whole thing back to the United States as a single package. And it gets to the United States, and they start to unpack it. This is a picture here of when they were unpacking the face of Liberty. And so people were taking their pictures. I'm sure that if they'd been able to, there would have been lots of selfies with Lady Liberty here. But they're unpacking and taking pictures and having a good bit of fun in the process of making that happen. So it arrives in New York in 1885, ready to be assembled. Came on a steamship, which is very late 1800s appropriate, and they're just going to make it happen. The pedestal is complete in 1886, so not perfectly on time, but already underway. They're having to get it done. It was quite a process. I won't go into the history of the pedestal, but there's, as with most projects, there was a lot of this discussion on what the design should look like. Should it be round? Should it be square? And there's a lot that went into making it happen and to be the right thing for the project. And so, the construction is, a bit of a process because it is a piece of art, and it's very kind of flexible to get it into place with all the copper sheeting and everything. But they do get it done, and it is dedicated in October of 1886. And so that is a big day for New York. There's a parade in New York City. There's a nautical parade as well. It's out in the harbor, so boats, sailing past. President Cleveland is there for the festivities. And originally it was managed by the Lighthouse Board of the War Department, and then in the 1930s, it is put under the control of the National Park Service. And so if you go there today, you'll see park rangers that are assigned to that location. And so as far as some extra resources for you, this is Building an Icon. This is through the YouTube channel, the excellent, you should subscribe, YouTube channel B1M. That's sort of a little bit of history, but also engineering side of major projects, and so they do all sorts of interesting stories. And this one is on how the Statue of Liberty was came to be, and so that's a really good one to check out. And oh, there's a picture of the pedestal coming together and the celebrations of Liberty being completed in New York Harbor, and then the statue itself. And then here's this link will be a discussion, so if you want to just hang out with a park ranger for a little bit and let them tell you about the how all of the Statue of Liberty island, pedestal, statue, how all kind of all came together, and how it functions today. You can hear a ranger tell you about that. So that's a good way to learn about it as well, because it's like you're right there. And so that'll do it for this story. The Capitol building and the Statue of Liberty are both extremely useful to us in just sort of understanding the 1800s in a different way. Monuments do that for us because we see them in the light of their own time, but we also see them in the light of our own time, and they take on new meaning, and even our concern and preservation of them takes on meaning over time. So I hope you enjoyed learning a bit about it, and I will catch you a little bit later. All right, have a good evening.